Welcome to this look at a new mod map to Farming Simulator 25 with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on Dark Forest, the final chapter. This by Mrtbone39 and Shantyboys, 32.4 megabytes download, that's all. Made me smile, it's like a Star Wars saga trilogy. We had the Dark Forest, the next chapter, and now the final chapter. I actually had a look on FS22. I don't know if Mr. T-Bone's been promoted, but on the previous version, the names were the other way around. I don't know if that means anything. I don't think it does. But what I will say is the map has changed. Oh, I keep getting this happening. There we go. Just need to do a few rotations, and then we're absolutely fine. I keep forgetting to do that before I start. But I will say it's weird. The map has definitely changed, 100% changed. We've got all the new buildings and bits and bobs, which kind of, like as we get used to on each next iteration of the game, you get the newer sell points, the newer vehicle garage, and all that kind of stuff. That's normal. But if it comes to the map, it looks like this. Now, the previous version of the game had here the vehicle shop, we had a little gas station here, and we had a sawmill here. That was it. We had no roadways. This was originally like a proper pioneering, you've got to, plough your way through the landscape, forging a path to whatever you're going to do. So the fact this one's got actual trackways, we've got a couple of fields, contracts are available. As I check on all three game modes, which I always do, I had a contract come up for wood transport, being a forestry map, that kind of makes sense. I had a ploughing contract come up. Obviously that was on farm manager or stuff because I didn't own the land on those. Obviously, once you own the land, I'll show you. Let me just show you. Let's go across to here. We're on New Farmer. So on New Farmer, we own this plot, which gives you this plot, start farm, and it gives you the roadways. So on farm management start from scratch, you don't. So it gave me an option for a ploughing contract on here because I didn't own the land. Obviously, then once you buy the farm, those will go away. But it still gave me a wood transport contract. I don't know if we'll get any stone breaking ones or anything like that come up. I've only had the wood transport one come up so far, which is fair enough. Field prices, I say plot prices, not too bad at all, really, when you consider the size of them. And all the plots are available, so even the ones that have got sell points on them, the sawmill, each plot can be purchased. So you've got the ability then to add more productions or decorative items or whatever you want on there. But it is predominantly still a forestry map. So there are no required mods to download. There are no custom crops. There are 25 collectibles, of which I haven't found any yet. And when I ever say that, people then send me messages telling me where they all are. It's fine. This isn't necessarily a map I'm going to play on, but thank you when people do. Vehicle shop, just here. Workshop trigger, all over there. This is the reset point for the map as well. And just to highlight that point, over at the start farm, we do have in one of the buildings, we do have a pickup just there. So I'm going to reset that. Otherwise, I've got to walk. I'm not walking. Blimey. What's that all about? Not going to do that. So, but what I will say as well is, compared to the previous version, I think it's because the trees are different on this version of the game as well. The style of trees is very different. There's a lot of forestry to be done here. It seemed a lot more dense on the previous version. I guess, again, because there weren't really any tracks or anything like that to follow. This feels a bit more open. Like it's been worked for a little bit already. These businesses and companies have moved into the area, and then you're, I suppose, being the final chapter, you are continuing the saga. Warehouse point just here for palleted items, so if you do decide to clear it, and the warehouse sell point just here, so if you decide to clear a load of land and then really expand and put in other productions and fields and that kind of stuff, you've got the ability in here to come and buy some pallets if you need them. What we're going to do is we're going to do an anti-clockwise route around. We're going to see the start farm. The start farm, you do have a harvester and bits and bobs. I was going to say, I think you started, I'm trying to think, we started with more equipment on the previous version. We'll take this fork here. Now, there are a couple of little clunky bits here and there. I think it might get an update. There's one of the water planes is part partially missing. Farmer's Market just here. It's a minor thing, and on the grand scheme of the entire map, it's a tiny little bit. But it was one of those things, because I came on start from scratch to check the slot count, and didn't have a vehicle, and I thought, oh, I need to check something, and I was on foot, and I tried to swim across the river, and then couldn't get out the other side, then noticed a particular thing, which you probably wouldn't do normally, but it's just a little bit of fill planes missing, that's all. There might be some floating trees here and there. There are quite a few trees. So this is our start farm area, and again, big old area. And I don't know if the description again has been ported over from the previous version, because it does say each Dark Forest installment is easy forestry map for beginner. Once you clear out an area of the forest, try making a farm for yourself and expand across the map. So obviously this version, this has already been cleared out for you, and it's a fairly big open area too. You can remove all the buildings on here. I'll talk about slot count while we're here. So on New Farmer, the slot count is 940, nice and low. And you start with the buildings, equipment and machinery. On Farm Management Start from Scratch, that comes down to 861. You don't have any of the vehicles and machinery. But if you remove the buildings, there's a chicken coop just there for 360, sleep and wardrobe trigger at the farmhouse that's there, a couple of sheds, and over the back there, we've got a silo, which is a 75,000 litre standard crop type base game silo. To remove all of those, I got the slot count down to 849. What I also tried to do, a little bit further around, we'll get to the Coopers. I bought the building, then tried to demolish it, and it wouldn't let me. It sold it, but the building remained, which meant I could then buy it back again. So yeah, it's. I don't think you can do it with any other thing. So yeah, you might get it lower than 849, but you'd have to have a fiddle around with that, and again, save the game before you make any changes is always my advice. So chicken coop there for 360. Got our tree harvester, 2 headers, standard header and corn header, no header trailer. In this barn here, we've got a harvester tucked away, because like I said, we go to the map, we do start with these 2 fields on New Farmer, so there is a bit of farming to be done. It's not completely forestry. That big challenge though of clearing enough to plough out your own field. I like that concept. I like that idea. Well, when I did my whole Mrtbone series on OS 19, was it 19? Blimey, I thoroughly enjoyed doing that. But the last time I did a forestry series on 22, people weren't particularly. I don't know. It was a different one. Mind you, I suppose I did do a weird one. That floor is lava challenge, which I don't know why. I still don't know why I did that. It was a bit bonkers. But anywho's, we have got in here cultivator, sprayer. We've got a cedar planter. Now, interestingly, we do have the Kubota with front forks, front loader. We don't have any front loader equipment. We don't start with any. So I've had a look round, didn't find anything. So you might need to buy some, but at least you start with it, I guess. Just buy the implements you then need, because we've got the harvester. That's a good point, actually, as well. On the previous version, you did start with a lorry and a log trailer. We don't even start, bearing in mind it's a forestry map, you don't even start with a log trailer. We start with this one over here. Try to think, can we convert that trailer? Is that one that we can change and turn it into a bale trailer, which you could potentially put logs on? Can't remember on that one if you can or not. Anyway, there's your silo, 75,000 litres. Now, I'm just trying to think as well. Previous version of this. The lake was a slightly different design, much sharper sides to it. That is the bit we just went past, isn't it? Yeah, there was a little river that crossed here. On the original map, it looked like a road with a bridge, but it's a little watercourse, which actually we've just been past. So, that's the start farm on New Farmer. This plot is only, I think, on Farm Management Start from Scratch, it's only 140,000. So to buy all of that, the 2 fields, and get the farm, 140 grand. Not too bad at all. So now we are going to gallivant. That's a word you don't use very often. Gallivant through the woodland, forestry. Take this turning here. No, not this turning here. No, that's the farmer's market. Next fork, around the bottom of the lake, take us towards the Cooper. Sweep all the way around the map, taking all the points. Yeah, like I say, I don't know, it just. Not that I'm not a particularly an aficionado of forestry maps, but it certainly feels more open to me, for whatever that's worth. I know we've got quite a few different tree mulcher devourer type mods available now. There's the new Prinoth mod, there's the standard in-game Cancella, and then we've got the Devourer from Rowdy Christie 1. So we've got a few different items available. So if you want to clear the land, it's that thing of, if you're going to come on and clear the land using something like that, I guess the argument could be made with just play on a normal map where you've already got fields. Because if you want the excitement, again, it depends how you feel about the excitement of clearing the forest and doing forestry. If you're just going to use something that you just drive through and it removes the trees immediately, then I guess you're technically not doing forestry, so you would play on a normal map, wouldn't you? If you're coming on here because you like forestry, you would probably do forestry. I don't know, it's a difficult one. I don't know how people would feel about that. When you buy this land, there's no sleep triggers or anything like that. I couldn't remove that building either, I did try. But it's not like there's not plenty of space on the map. So there's the Cooper. We've got a bit of a drive. I mean, between each point, obviously, we're driving around the entire forest. So there's a little bit of a drive. Talk amongst yourselves. It's interesting as you're looking around, actually, that there are certain parts of the map. I was just going to say, it's not one of those maps that's going to be overly difficult to do your forestry on, but there are some bits with elevated areas. We have got some hills in amongst the trees, which are hard to see when you're looking through. Every now and again you see a bit of land and think, hang on a minute, but there are some elevated areas, so it's not going to be all straightforward, plain sailing. Carpentry, big old carpentry building here, and again, the plot can be bought, so there's plenty of space around it. I like that. So even if you can't remove the carpentry that's on here, there's a load of room for putting other things on, whether it be decorative or other productions. I suppose I could have gone through the trees, didn't need to use the road, did I? Where's my sense of adventure? So like I say, these two bits, the Cooper and the carpentry, they weren't there before in the previous version, or this nice wide road. The next point was, but interesting, I'm pretty sure in the previous version of the map as well, the animal dealer, which is where we're heading to now, was just an animal dealer. There was nothing else there, but there was no road to it, if I recall correctly. So if you were going to clear the land out and you were going to put animals on, you needed to, you had to put a road in. So again, I don't know how people feel about that. If you played on this previously, or you were thinking about, you want a full-blown forestry challenge, has that challenge been removed a little bit because we've now got roads? I don't know. I suppose it's striking that balance from a map maker's perspective to put a couple of fields on here, have it a little bit sparser, have some roadways on here already. It's more encouraging for people that wouldn't normally do a forestry map. So if you don't want to go full-blown pioneering, machete, however you say it, hacking your way through the undergrowth to clear a path type thing, this is a kind of somewhere in between, I suppose. Lime station just here. Around the back of the building, we have got our slurry point. So slurry buy point, manure buy point, and curiously, we get round here, there was a cluster of little icons on the map. We've got a honey pallet spawn point and some beehives. Just sat there. Yeah, on the edge of the area. Yeah, there you go, beehives. And then we have got the animal dealer and the animal dealer sell points just round the front here. That's your animal dealer. Got to find the road out. See here, this is it. I think. The sawmill is obviously, not obviously, the sawmill has changed. It's got the one from Riverbend Springs. Whilst it has got the mill pond on it, the mill pond is not a working mill pond per se. I still can't believe they changed the Silver Run one. But anyway, but it has got the sort of the mill pond with a little boat on it and that kind of thing. And it's taken, I think, straight from Riverbend Springs because it's got the elevation change where the railroad runs through it and that kind of thing. Whereas the FS22 version was just a small sawmill with a little wood chip area. So it's a much bigger proposition. I like this version of it, I really do. But I think it might be an FS19. I'm trying to think what version of the game. I'm sure it was 19, with quite a few maps that had working mill ponds. I mean, going back to 15 and 15. What map was it? Bjornholm. Bjornholm had a mill pond sell point. At the end of the day, it's just a sell. It's a sell point. You drop your logs into the water and it does it. This one, I think the sell point is here, on this gravelly bit here, but there is the mill pond to the side. And I like the design of this. I like the way it's done. It's very cool. And then we've got the raised area up here. For purchasing of and managing of, just through there. There's our sawmill. And then if I can find the track out, which is over here somewhere. There we go. We've then got a little gas station. And then we're heading back up towards our start point. So just to our left there. Gas station. And then finding a way back up to the top where we originally started. So yeah, I suppose it's more easily accessible than previous versions, I guess is the other way of putting it. But that's the map. That's Dark Forest, the final chapter by Mrtbone39 and Shantyboys. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.